Akshaya, Thriving No Matter What, How to Succeed in a Chaotic World, written by Anand Bhatt, narrated by Jim Callahan. Introduction. In the real world, we faced constant challenges and uncertainties. The COVID-19 pandemic forced us to adapt to a new way of life, and natural disasters, economic instability, and political unrest are also common occurrences. In such a chaotic environment, we need to be able to thrive, not just survive. The principles in this book offer a roadmap to achieving just that. We will touch on an ancient Sanskrit word that means imperishable, indestructible, and unending. We can totally achieve a state of being where we are able to not just withstand, but actually thrive and benefit in the face of adversity. We will map out a system of well-being that includes flexibility, independence, scalability, and more, so we can cultivate the mindset and skills to achieve and live a fulfilling and successful life regardless of what is going on around us. In this book, we will explore how a set of principles that can be applied in various aspects of our lives, including personal growth, decision-making, relationships, career, and even household chores. We will draw on examples from history, literature, and real-life experiences to illustrate how the system outlined here can help us overcome challenges and achieve our goals. Whether you are facing a personal crisis or looking to enhance your daily life, the principles herein can help you cultivate the resilience, actually better than resilience, as you'll soon find out, adaptability and creativity needed to thrive in any situation. So let us embark on this journey together and discover how to live a life where we thrive and succeed no matter what. Why Akshaya? Sanskrit is a language that has a deep connection with Indian culture and heritage. It is one of the oldest languages in the world and has contributed significantly to the development of Indian philosophy, literature, and religion. One of the most fascinating words in Sanskrit is Akshaya. The word Akshaya is derived from two Sanskrit words, Aksha and Aya. The word Aksha means indestructible, while Aya means that which never diminishes. Therefore, the term Akshaya means that which is indestructible or imperishable. In Indian mythology and culture, the word Akshaya has several meanings and interpretations. One of those meanings is that it signifies success in any endeavor that never diminishes. It is believed that by being disciplined and applying certain principles, one can acquire Akshaya, which brings everlasting success. Another popular interpretation of Akshaya is related to time. In this context, Akshaya signifies an unending or eternal period. It is believed that time is infinite and that it will continue forever. Akshaya also denotes the victory over time, indicating that one who has achieved Akshaya is beyond the influence of time and will always remain successful. The word Akshaya also has religious significance. In Hinduism, it is associated with Lord Vishnu, who is known as Akshaya Patra, which means the one who possesses the Akshaya bowl. According to Hindu mythology, the Akshaya Patra is a bowl that provides an infinite supply of food to the needy. It is believed that those who possess the Akshaya bowl will never go hungry, and their supply of food will never diminish. In other words, the Sanskrit word Akshaya has multiple interpretations and meanings. It is a word that signifies success in any endeavor, victory, and timelessness. It is a powerful word that has played an essential role in Indian mythology, culture, and religion. In today's world, the concept of Akshaya is still relevant and can be applied in our lives. By being disciplined and applying certain principles, we can achieve Akshaya, which will bring us everlasting success. The world of chaos. The world can seem like a chaotic and unpredictable place. We are constantly exposed to negative news stories, political turmoil, and natural disasters that challenge our well-being. It's easy to feel like everything is designed to bring us down. But is the chaos that we perceive really an illusion? Or can we actually benefit from it if we follow certain principles? The truth is that chaos and disorder are a natural part of the universe. The universe is constantly evolving and changing, and sometimes that change can be chaotic. But instead of seeing chaos as a negative force, we can actually benefit from it if we follow certain principles. Chaos presents us with opportunities to learn and grow. It challenges us to step outside of our comfort zones and face new experiences. When we're faced with chaos, we are forced to adapt and find new solutions. This can be uncomfortable, but it also can be incredibly beneficial for our personal growth and development. In addition, chaos often leads to innovation and progress. When things are stable and predictable, we tend to stick with what we know and are comfortable with. But when chaos strikes, we're forced to think outside of the box and come up with new ideas. This can lead to breakthroughs in science, technology, and other areas of life. However, in order to benefit from chaos, we need to approach it with the right mindset. Instead of being overwhelmed by chaos, we need to embrace it and see it as an opportunity for growth and progress. We need to be willing to take risks and try new things, even if it means stepping into the unknown. Chaos is not necessarily a negative force that is designed to bring us down. It's a natural part of the universe that presents us with opportunities for growth and progress. In order to benefit from chaos, we need to approach it with the right mindset and be willing to take risks and try new things. In the following chapters, we will explore the principles that can help us navigate the chaos and find success in the face of uncertainty. Anti-fragility and Akshaya. Nassim Taleb, a scholar and philosopher, introduced the concept of anti-fragility in his book Anti-Fragile: Things That Gain from Disorder. Anti-fragility is the ability of a system to not only withstand chaos and stress, but to actually improve and thrive in the face of it. The concept of Akshaya, which originates from the Sanskrit language, is similar to anti-fragility in that it refers to an ever-growing and never-depleting abundance. Anti-fragility is the opposite of fragility. A fragile system is one that's easily broken and damaged by stress or shock. On the other hand, an anti-fragile system is one that is strengthened and improved by stress and chaos. The idea is that when a system is exposed to stress, it has the opportunity to adapt and grow stronger. The system is not only resilient, but also able to benefit from chaos. Similarly, the concept of Akshaya refers to a state of abundance that never diminishes. It is said that Akshaya is the result of good deeds and charity, which keep the flow of abundance coming. In a sense, the concept of Akshaya is about creating a system that is anti-fragile. By continually giving and doing good deeds, the system is strengthened and able to withstand any stress or shock. The connection between anti-fragility and Akshaya is clear. Both concepts refer to systems that are able to thrive in the face of stress and chaos. In the case of Akshaya, the system is strengthened by good deeds and charity. In the case of anti-fragility, the system is strengthened by stress and chaos. One important aspect of both anti-fragility and Akshaya is the idea of diversity. A diverse system is one that is more anti-fragile and able to adapt to stress and chaos. In the case of Akshaya, a diverse set of good deeds and charitable actions can help to create a robust system of abundance. Similarly, in the case of anti-fragility, a diverse set of experiences and exposures can help to create a system that is better able to withstand stress and improve in the face of chaos. Nassim Taleb's concept of anti-fragility and the concept of Akshaya share many similarities. Both refer to systems that are able to thrive in the face of stress and chaos. The key to both is diversity and the ability to adapt and grow stronger in the face of challenges. By understanding these concepts, we can create systems that are anti-fragile and experience the abundance of Akshaya. While the concept of Akshaya is often associated with good deeds and charity, we want to make it clear that we are not here to pressure anyone into doing these things. We understand that what one person may consider a good deed or charitable act may not be the same for another. Additionally, we want to avoid any kind of virtue signaling or creating an environment where people feel obligated to do good deeds or charity just to fit a certain image. Instead, in the chapters ahead, we will be outlining a set of principles and concepts that anyone can follow, as long as they're willing to be disciplined. Discipline, we believe, is a critical component in thriving in chaos. It's not about trying to be good or moral, but rather about creating habits and routines that allow us to navigate through challenging situations with more ease. By being disciplined, we can create systems and processes that are anti-fragile, allowing us to adapt and grow stronger in the face of stress and chaos. We will discuss various principles such as resilience, adaptability, and resourcefulness that can help us build a more anti-fragile system. Additionally, we will explore the concept of failure and how it can actually be a beneficial experience that can help us learn and grow. Ultimately, the goal of this book is not to tell anyone what they should or should not be doing, but rather to provide a set of tools and concepts that can be applied in any situation. We believe that by being disciplined and applying these principles, anyone can thrive in chaos and experience the abundance of Akshaya. The concept of the butterfly effect refers to the idea that small changes can have significant and far reaching consequences. The term butterfly effect comes from the idea that the flapping of a butterfly's wings in one part of the world could ultimately cause a hurricane in another part of the world. This concept is often associated with chaos theory, which suggests that small variations in initial conditions can lead to significant changes in outcomes over time. The growth rate of chaos, on the other hand, refers to how quickly a system becomes unpredictable and difficult to control. As more and more small changes accumulate, the system becomes more and more complex, and it becomes harder to predict how it will behave in the future. In some cases, this can lead to sudden and unexpected events that can have significant consequences. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei emphasizes the idea of non-action or non-doing. It suggests that by not interfering with the natural flow of things, we can achieve a state of harmony and balance. This is not the same as being passive or inactive, but rather about acting in a way that is in harmony with the natural order of things. This idea is similar to the concept of going with the flow or letting things take their course. The quote about a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step is often used to encourage people to take action and make progress towards their goals. However, it can also be seen as a warning about the potential consequences of our actions. Every decision we make has the potential to set off a chain of events that can lead to unintended consequences. The further we travel down a particular path, the harder it can be to change course, and the more difficult it can be to predict the outcome. By being aware of the butterfly effect and the growth rate of chaos, we can better understand the potential consequences of our actions. By practicing Wu Wei, we can act in a way that is in harmony with the natural order of things, rather than trying to impose our will on the world. By being mindful of the potential consequences of our decisions, we can take steps to avoid unintended consequences and move towards a state of harmony and balance. Acknowledging the complexity and chaos of life has practical benefits. By being aware that life can be challenging and unpredictable, we can mentally and emotionally prepare for unexpected events. This allows us to develop a framework or system that helps us thrive in the face of adversity. It may involve adopting a flexible and adaptable approach to life or developing stress management strategies. Denial of life's complexities can leave us unprepared and unable to cope. On the other hand, awareness allows us to handle whatever comes our way, adapt to changing circumstances, and develop resilience and flexibility. To thrive amidst chaos, we need a mindset that is open, adaptable, and accepting of uncertainty. Embracing change and uncertainty and creating a framework that allows us to navigate challenges effectively positions us not only to survive, but to thrive in the face of life's difficulties. Principle 1. Flexibility. Flexibility is a key principle that we need to keep in mind if we want to benefit from chaos and achieve Akshaya. Chaos is inherently unpredictable and constantly changing, and to thrive in such an environment, we need to be flexible and adaptable. Flexibility can take many different forms. It might involve being open to new ideas and approaches, or being willing to pivot and change course when circumstances demand it. It might also involve being comfortable with uncertainty and ambiguity, and being able to remain calm and focused in the face of unexpected challenges. One of the key benefits of flexibility is that it allows us to respond to changing circumstances quickly and effectively. When we are flexible, we are able to adapt to new situations and make the most of the opportunities they present. We are also able to avoid getting stuck in old patterns of thinking or behavior that are no longer effective. Another benefit of flexibility is that it helps us develop resilience. When we are flexible, we are better equipped to handle unexpected events and to bounce back from setbacks. We are also able to remain focused and productive, even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty. To cultivate flexibility, we need to adopt a growth mindset. This means being open to new experiences and opportunities, and being willing to learn and grow from our mistakes. We also need to be comfortable with change and uncertainty, and to view challenges as opportunities for growth and development. Ultimately, the key to benefiting from chaos and achieving Akshaya is to cultivate flexibility and adaptability. By embracing change and uncertainty, and by developing the resilience and agility needed to thrive in the midst of chaos, we can position ourselves to succeed and thrive in even the most challenging of environments. Flexibility in decision-making is essential in achieving outcome independence, which means making decisions based on what you believe is right and not becoming attached to a particular outcome. This helps to avoid disappointment and stress and allows you to focus on the present moment and take the necessary steps towards your goal. Being flexible in decision-making enables you to consider multiple options, weigh the pros and cons, and choose the best course of action based on the situation at hand. This is particularly useful when unexpected events occur, as you can quickly adapt and pivot towards a new direction without getting bogged down by the initial plan. An example of how flexibility can help you thrive in the face of a negative event is the story of Blockbuster Video. At its peak, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores worldwide and was the leading provider of home movie and video game rentals. However, with the rise of online streaming services such as Netflix, Blockbuster began to lose its customer base and was ultimately forced to file for bankruptcy in 2010. While this was a significant setback for Blockbuster, the company's former executives revealed that they had the opportunity to buy Netflix in its early days for a mere $50 million. At the time, Blockbuster had a rigid focus on its brick-and-mortar rental model and didn't see the potential in online streaming. By not being flexible and open to new ideas, Blockbuster missed out on an opportunity that would have allowed it to pivot towards a new direction and potentially thrive in the digital age. In contrast, Netflix was founded on the principle of flexibility and agility, constantly adapting to changes in the market and experimenting with new business models. This has allowed Netflix to grow into the powerhouse it is today, while Blockbuster became a cautionary tale about the dangers of being inflexible and failing to adapt to change. The lesson here is that being flexible and open to new ideas is essential to thriving in a rapidly changing world. By embracing change and uncertainty, and being willing to pivot and adapt when necessary, we can position ourselves to succeed even in the face of negative events or setbacks. This mindset of flexibility and adaptability is essential to achieving Akshaya and thriving amidst chaos. Another example of how someone benefited and actually thrived by being flexible in the face of a negative event is the story of Steve Jobs and Apple. In 1985, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded. At the time, he was devastated and felt like a failure. However, instead of giving up, Jobs remained flexible and open to new opportunities. He went on to found Next, a computer company focused on education and business markets. While the company struggled financially, it introduced new technologies and ideas that later played a significant role in Apple's success. In 1996, Apple acquired Next and brought Steve Jobs back to the company. Jobs was then able to use his experiences and ideas from Next and transform Apple into the technology giant it is today. He introduced new products like the iPod, iPhone, and iPad, and revolutionized the way we interact with technology. If Steve Jobs had not been flexible and open to new opportunities after his firing from Apple, he might not have been able to bring the transformative ideas and technologies that he introduced to Apple later on. This story illustrates how being flexible and open to new opportunities can lead to positive outcomes, even in the face of a negative event. By staying open to new ideas and being willing to take risks, we can position ourselves to thrive and succeed, even in the face of setbacks and challenges. Yoga doesn't just equal stretchy postures. Karma yoga is a concept in Hinduism that emphasizes the importance of selfless action and service. It is based on the idea that all actions have consequences, and by performing actions with the intention of helping others, one can cultivate positive karma and spiritual growth. In the context of flexibility, Karma Yoga teaches us to approach life with an open mind and a willingness to serve others. It encourages us to be flexible in our actions and to be adaptable to changing circumstances. One of the key principles of Karma Yoga is to focus on the action itself rather than the outcome. This is known as Karma Phala Tyaga, or detachment from the fruits of one's actions. By letting go of attachment to outcomes, we can be more flexible in our approach and better able to adapt to changing circumstances. Karma Yoga also emphasizes the importance of serving others and doing good deeds without expecting anything in return. This requires a high degree of flexibility and adaptability, as we must be willing to respond to the needs of others and adapt our actions accordingly. In essence, Karma Yoga teaches us that the true flexibility comes from a selfless and service-oriented approach to life. By focusing on the needs of others and detaching from the outcomes of our actions, we can cultivate a mindset of flexibility and adaptability that allows us to thrive in even the most challenging of circumstances. It may seem paradoxical, but focusing too much on our personal well-being can actually be counterproductive. When we hyper-focus on ourselves, we can become rigid in our thinking and less adaptable to changing circumstances. This can lead to increased stress and anxiety, which can ultimately have a negative impact on our overall well-being. On the other hand, when we take a more selfless approach to life and focus on helping others, we can paradoxically create a sense of personal well-being. By focusing on the needs of others, we can take our minds off of our own problems and gain a sense of purpose and fulfillment. In addition, helping others can create a sense of connection and community that is essential for our well-being. By serving others, we can create meaningful relationships and a sense of belonging that can help us navigate the challenges of life with greater resilience and flexibility. This focus on others and the greater good can also help us maintain flexibility in the face of challenges. When we are less focused on our own personal well-being, we can be more open to different perspectives and more adaptable to changing circumstances. This can help us navigate difficult situations with greater ease and come up with creative solutions to problems. Here are some tips on how to maintain flexibility in your daily life. 1. Be open to new ideas. Stay open to new ideas and perspectives. Don't be rigid in your thinking or beliefs. Listen to others and be willing to consider new approaches. 2. Embrace change. Change is inevitable, and being able to adapt to change is essential for maintaining flexibility. Embrace change as an opportunity to learn and grow. 3. Take calculated risks. Don't be afraid to take risks. Be willing to step outside your comfort zone and try new things. However, make sure to take calculated risks that are informed by careful consideration and analysis. 4. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness can help you stay present and aware of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. It can help you respond to situations in a more flexible and adaptive way. 5. Be proactive. Don't wait for situations to arise. Take a proactive approach to life and be prepared to pivot when necessary. Develop contingency plans and be ready to adjust your plans as circumstances change. 6. Learn from failure. Failure can be a powerful learning opportunity. Don't be discouraged by failure, but rather use it as a chance to reflect on what went wrong and how you can improve in the future. 7. Stay curious. Curiosity can help you maintain a sense of wonder and openness to new experiences. Keep learning and seeking out new knowledge and experiences. By following these tips, you can develop a mindset of flexibility that will help you thrive in the face of challenges and uncertainty. Principle 2. Independence. Independence is a powerful tool that can help you thrive in chaos. When you're independent, you're not reliant on others for your success, and you have the freedom to chart your own course. This can be incredibly valuable in times of uncertainty, where the expertise of others may not be enough to guide you through the chaos. One of the keys to independence is being self-sufficient. This means being able to take care of yourself and your basic needs without relying on others. This can include things like cooking your own meals, fixing your own car, or even growing your own food. When you're self-sufficient, you're not reliant on others for your basic needs, which can give you a sense of freedom and independence. Another important aspect of independence is the ability to think for yourself. In a world where we are bombarded with information and advice from experts and authority figures, it can be easy to lose sight of our own intuition and inner wisdom. However, being able to trust your own instincts and make your own decisions can be incredibly empowering. It's important to note that being independent doesn't mean you have to go it alone. While you may not rely on others for your success, it's still important to build a network of support and community around you. This can include friends, family, and mentors who provide guidance and support when you need it. However, it's important to approach these relationships with a sense of independence. This means not becoming overly reliant on the advice or opinions of others, and being willing to take risks and make your own decisions. When you are able to strike this balance between independence and community support, you can create a powerful foundation for success. Finally, it's worth noting that independence can be challenging at times. It can require a willingness to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. However, by cultivating a sense of independence, you can create a powerful sense of self-reliance and resilience that can help you thrive in even the most challenging of circumstances. Once again, independence is a powerful tool for thriving in chaos. By being self-sufficient, thinking for yourself, and building a supportive network around you, you can create a powerful foundation for success. While it may require some courage and willingness to take risks, the rewards of independence can be significant. Whether you're facing personal challenges or navigating uncertain times in the wider world, cultivating a sense of independence can be an incredibly valuable asset. Independence doesn't mean avoiding the help of others. It simply means that one is not dependent on it for their well-being. In fact, being independent often means being able to recognize when and where one needs assistance and seeking it out on their own terms. It means being able to take responsibility for one's own life and well-being, rather than relying on others to do it for them. This does not mean that being independent is easy or that it is always the right choice for everyone. There are times when we all need help and support, and seeking it out can be a sign of strength rather than weakness. However, being overly dependent on others can also be a sign of insecurity and a lack of self-confidence. It can lead to a feeling of helplessness and a sense that we have little control over our own lives. Being independent can help us to thrive in chaos because it allows us to take control of our own lives and make our own decisions. When we are overly dependent on others, we may feel like we have no say in the direction of our lives and that we are at the mercy of other people's decisions. This can make us feel powerless and can lead to feelings of anxiety, stress, and even depression. By being independent, we can take charge of our own lives and make decisions that are right for us. We can develop our own skills and talents and build our own self-confidence. We can learn to trust our judgment and intuition and to make decisions that are in our best interests. We can also learn to accept responsibility for our own mistakes and to learn from them. This does not mean that we should avoid seeking out the help of others or that we should be isolated from the world. Rather, it means that we should be able to take care of ourselves and make decisions that are right for us, regardless of what others may say or think. It means being able to maintain our independence, even in the face of challenges or difficulties, and to rely on ourselves when we need to. Being independent means being able to take responsibility for our own lives and well-being. It means being able to make our own decisions and to rely on ourselves when we need to. By being independent, we can thrive in chaos and take charge of our own lives, even in the face of adversity. Michael Porter and the Value Chain. Michael Porter is an influential business strategist and economist known for his groundbreaking research on competition and competitive advantage. He is the Bishop William Lawrence University professor at Harvard Business School, where he has been teaching for over 4 decades. He has also served as a consultant for leading global corporations and governments. Porter is best known for his seminal work on the 5 Forces framework, a framework that helps businesses understand the competitive dynamics of their industry. He has also developed theories on clusters, value chains, and the competitive advantage of nations. Porter has authored over 20 books and hundreds of articles and is widely considered one of the most influential thinkers in the field of business strategy. Michael Porter's value chain concept is a framework that describes the various activities that a company performs to create value for its customers. The concept highlights the importance of not just the primary activities that directly create value for customers, but also the support activities that enable the primary activities to be carried out efficiently and effectively. In a similar way, when it comes to personal well-being, it's important to recognize the value of support activities, such as seeking the advice and guidance of experts or relying on the help of others. However, it's also important to maintain independence and not become overly dependent on these external sources of support. Independence doesn't mean completely avoiding the help of others or disregarding expertise of professionals. It means not becoming reliant on them for personal well-being and maintaining the ability to make informed decisions based on one's own values, priorities, and goals. This balance between independence and reliance on others can be challenging to maintain, as it requires constantly evaluating the value and impact of different sources of support. Michael Porter's value chain concept can provide a helpful framework for evaluating and optimizing the different activities and sources of support that contribute to personal well-being. For example, someone might seek the advice of a financial planner to help them manage their finances, but they should also strive to become knowledgeable about financial planning and maintain the ability to make their own financial decisions. Similarly, they might rely on friends and family for emotional support during difficult times, but should also work on developing their own coping strategies and resilience. Ultimately, the goal is to find a balance between being independent and relying on others for support in order to achieve personal well-being and thrive in the face of chaos and challenges. A very basic example of how someone benefited from being independent, although we'll mention more Akshaya-ic ones also, don't worry. In the face of a negative event is the story of Diana Nyad, a long-distance swimmer who attempted to swim from Cuba to Florida in 1978, 2011, and 2012. In 1978, Nyad was just shy of the Florida coast when a storm forced her to abandon the swim. She had been swimming for 41 hours and had covered 76 miles. In her 2011 and 2012 attempts, Nyad faced a number of obstacles, including severe jellyfish stings, powerful currents, and extreme fatigue. Despite these challenges, Nyad refused to give up and pushed through the pain and discomfort. She did not rely on her experts or a support team to get her through the swim, but instead maintained her independence and relied on her own strength and determination. In August of 2013, at the age of 64, Nyad finally completed the swim from Cuba to Florida, covering 110 miles in just under 53 hours. Her independence and determination had helped her to achieve her long-held dream, despite numerous setbacks and challenges. Nyad's story is a powerful example of the benefits of maintaining independence and self-reliance, even in the face of adversity. By refusing to rely on others for her well-being and success, she was able to accomplish something truly remarkable. Another example of how someone benefited from being independent in the face of a negative event is the story of Aaron Ralston, a mountain climber who became trapped in a narrow canyon in Utah in 2003. Ralston had been climbing alone when a boulder fell and pinned his right arm against the canyon wall. He was stuck in the canyon for 5 days, with little food and water and no way to call for help. Despite the dire situation, Ralston refused to give up and instead maintained his independence and self-reliance. He used his mountaineering skills to rig up a pulley system to lift the boulder off of his arm, and then used a dull multi-tool to amputate his own arm below the elbow. While this extreme example of independence may not be for everyone, Ralston's determination and self-reliance allowed him to survive a difficult situation and go on to inspire others with his story. By refusing to be dependent on others for his survival, Ralston was able to take control of his own situation and emerge from the canyon a stronger and more resilient person. Akshaya-ic examples. One example of how not being reliant on experts benefited an organization during a challenge or negative event is the story of the Apollo 13 space mission. In 1970, the Apollo 13 spacecraft experienced a catastrophic failure that put the lives of the 3 astronauts on board in danger. The mission control team at NASA had to work quickly to come up with a solution to bring the astronauts back to Earth safely. The team faced many challenges, including the fact that the spacecraft's oxygen supply was rapidly depleting. They were initially advised by a team of outside experts to abandon the mission and let the spacecraft drift into space. But the NASA team refused to give up and instead relied on their own expertise and ingenuity to find a solution. Working around the clock, the team developed a plan to use the lunar module as a lifeboat to bring the astronauts back to Earth. Despite numerous setbacks and unexpected challenges, they were able to successfully bring the astronauts home safely. The Apollo 13 mission is a testament to the importance of independence and self-reliance in the face of a challenge or negative event. By refusing to give up and relying on their own experience, the NASA team was able to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles and achieve a successful outcome. During the 2008 financial crisis, some individuals and organizations who are not heavily reliant on financial experts were able to navigate the crisis more effectively. For example, the CEO of Costco, Jim Sinegal, refused to engage in risky financial practices like taking on excessive debt and instead focused on offering value to customers through low prices and high-quality products. As a result, Costco weathered the financial crisis better than many other retailers and even managed to grow its market share during the recession. Similarly, some individuals who had taken the time to educate themselves about personal finance and investing were able to protect their assets and even profit from the market downturn, while those who blindly trusted financial experts and followed their advice suffered significant losses. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Simplifying your life can have numerous benefits when it comes to self-reliance and independence from experts and services. When you simplify your life, you reduce reliance on external sources of support and instead focus on developing your own resources and abilities. This can give you a greater sense of control and autonomy over your life and can also help you build resilience in the face of challenges and negative events. One way to simplify your life is to reduce your dependence on material possessions and consumer culture. By focusing on the things that truly matter and bringing more mindfulness to your consumption habits, you can reduce your expenses and live a more sustainable and fulfilling life. This can help you become less reliant on the support of financial experts and services and instead develop a greater sense of financial self-reliance. Another way to simplify your life is to prioritize your physical and mental health. By focusing on regular exercise, healthy eating, and stress reduction techniques, you can increase your resilience and reduce your reliance on healthcare professionals and services. This can also help you become more self-reliant in other areas of your life as you develop a greater sense of personal agency and control. Finally, simplifying your life can involve reducing your dependence on digital technology and social media. By prioritizing face-to-face interactions, meaningful experiences, and personal growth, you can reduce your reliance on digital experts and services and instead develop a greater sense of emotional self-reliance. Overall, simplifying your life can be a powerful tool in helping you become more self-reliant and independent of experts and services. By focusing on what truly matters and developing your own resources and abilities, you can thrive in the face of challenges and negative events and create a more fulfilling and sustainable life for yourself. Reasonable minimalism. I try to use a mindset that I call reasonable minimalism. I don't know if it's a real thing or if I made it up, but it seems to work well. Reasonable minimalism is a concept that encourages people to simplify their lives in a practical and achievable way. It involves adopting a minimalist mindset without necessarily taking it to the extreme. By prioritizing the essentials and reducing the excess in their lives, individuals can become more self-reliant and independent of experts and services, allowing them to thrive in difficult situations. Reasonable minimalism starts with an assessment of one's priorities and what is truly essential to them. This could involve cutting back on material possessions, streamlining daily routines, or reducing financial obligations. By simplifying one's life, individuals can gain a sense of control and reduce the need for external resources. Reasonable minimalism does not require individuals to completely forsake modern conveniences or live in extreme conditions. Rather, it encourages a mindful and intentional approach to one's lifestyle. This may involve choosing quality over quantity, investing in experiences rather than material possessions, and focusing on sustainable practices that align with one's values. By adopting a reasonable minimalist mindset, individuals can become more self-reliant and adaptable to changing circumstances. They can navigate challenges with a sense of resilience and resourcefulness without necessarily relying on external resources or experts. Reasonable minimalism can be a practical and achievable way to simplify one's life and gain greater independence. By prioritizing the essentials, reducing excess, and cultivating a minimalist mindset, individuals can thrive in challenging situations and build resilience in the face of adversity. In order to achieve Akshaya, it's important to cultivate self-reliance and independence, not just from individuals and experts, but also from systems and institutions we cannot control. This does not mean completely rejecting these institutions, but rather being prepared for situations where they may not be able to provide the support we need. For example, in times of economic turmoil or job loss, it's important to have a backup plan that doesn't rely solely on finding another job. Developing skills or creating a side business can provide a safety net that isn't dependent on a specific employer or industry. Similarly, in times of natural disasters or civil unrest, it's important to be prepared for situations where emergency services may not be available or accessible. Having a stockpile of food, water, and supplies, as well as knowing basic survival skills, can provide a sense of security and self-reliance that can help us thrive in challenging situations. Ultimately, the goal of cultivating independence is not to completely isolate ourselves from others or institutions, but rather to be prepared for situations where those resources may not be available or effective. By doing so, we can develop the ability to thrive even in the face of chaos and uncertainty. The story of Sadhu and the loincloth is a classic example of how even small compromises can lead to a snowball effect that can result in dependency and loss of independence. The story goes that a sadhu, or holy man, lived a simple life with just a loincloth to cover himself. He was content with his minimalist existence and had no need for more material possessions. One day, a passerby offered him a blanket, and the sadhu accepted it, thinking it would provide some additional warmth during the cold nights. Soon after, he was offered a shawl, and he accepted that too. Then, he was offered a robe, and so on. Before long, he was weighed down by so many possessions that he had to have people carry them for him. In this story, the sadhu's journey from a simple life to a life of material dependency illustrates how even small concessions can lead to a loss of independence. The sadhu initially wanted a small item to make his life easier, but it led to a series of other items being added until he became reliant on others to carry them. The lesson here is that we should be careful about what we allow into our lives and make sure that we do not let small compromises lead to a loss of independence. While it's not realistic to completely eliminate our reliance on institutions and systems, we can take steps to ensure that we don't become overly dependent on them. By being mindful of what we allow into our lives, we can maintain our independence and avoid being weighed down by unnecessary possessions and dependencies. There is another version of the story of the sadhu and the loincloth that further emphasizes the point of the dangers of dependencies. In this version, the sadhu started meditating in a cave, and a mouse began to nibble on the thread of his loincloth. To prevent the mouse from ruining the loincloth, the sadhu got a cat. However, he soon realized that he needed to feed the cat, so he got a cow. The cow needed grass, so he planted grass. With the grass came insects, which required a spouse to keep them at bay. Eventually, the sadhu found himself with a full-fledged farm and a family to take care of. Despite the sadhu's best intentions to maintain his simple life, the introduction of a single dependency led to a chain of events that ultimately took him away from his original goal. The story demonstrates that even the smallest dependencies can quickly grow out of control and lead to unforeseen consequences. It is a cautionary tale about the importance of being aware of the potential dangers of dependencies and the need for maintaining independence and simplicity in our lives. Here are some tips on how to be more self-reliant. 1. Learn new skills. By learning new skills, you can reduce your dependence on others for getting things done. Some examples of valuable skills to learn include cooking, gardening, car maintenance, or basic home repairs. 2. Build a support network. While it's important to be self-reliant, it doesn't mean you should cut yourself off from others entirely. Building a network of like-minded individuals who can offer advice or assistance when needed can be beneficial. 3. Create a self-sufficient environment. This could involve growing your own food, generating your own energy, collecting and filtering your own water. By creating a more self-sufficient environment, You can reduce your dependence on external resources. 4. Be resourceful. Try to make the most of the resources you have on hand. For example, instead of throwing out old clothes, consider repurposing them for other uses. Or try fixing a broken item instead of immediately replacing it. 5. Practice self-reflection. Take time to reflect on your goals, values, and priorities. This can help you make decisions that align with your personal vision and reduce the need for outside input. 6. Embrace minimalism. By simplifying your possessions and reducing your reliance on material goods, you can become more self-reliant and less dependent on consumer culture. Overall, being more self-reliant requires a willingness to learn, a sense of resourcefulness, and a commitment to living intentionally. With practice and effort, anyone can become more self-reliant and independent. Principle 3. Scalability. Being scalable equals thriving in chaos by growing, or rather allowing for growth to happen from the onset. Scalability is a term used in the world of business and technology to describe the ability of a system or process to handle an increasing amount of work or demand. It is an important concept that helps organizations prepare for growth and expansion. However, scalability is not just limited to the world of business and technology. It is also a powerful concept that individuals can use to thrive in chaos. Scalability is about being able to handle more, to grow, and to expand. It is about being able to adapt to changes and to take advantage of new opportunities. For individuals, scalability means being able to learn and grow and to take on new challenges, adapt to changing circumstances. It means being able to achieve more and to make the most of the resources available to you. The key to scalability is to have a growth mindset. This means having an open and flexible approach to learning and being willing to take on new challenges. It means not being afraid to fail, but instead seeing failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. It also means being proactive and taking responsibility for your own growth and development. Scalability can be used in many areas of your life, from your career to your personal relationships. In your career, scalability means being able to take on new responsibilities and challenges, and to develop the skills and knowledge needed to succeed in your field. It means being adaptable and flexible and being willing to learn new things. In your personal life, scalability means being able to handle the challenges and demands of life and to grow and thrive despite them. It means being able to adapt to changing circumstances and to make the most of the resources available to you. It means being resilient and resourceful and being able to find creative solutions to problems. One of the key benefits of scalability is that it allows you to thrive in chaos. When you are scalable, you're able to handle the unexpected and to adapt to changes in your environment. You're able to grow and expand even in the face of adversity. This is a powerful advantage in a world that is constantly changing and unpredictable. To become scalable, it is important to develop a growth mindset. This means being willing to take on new challenges and to learn from failure. It also means being proactive and taking responsibility for your own growth and development. Here are some tips on how to develop a growth mindset and become more scalable. 1. Embrace failure. Failure is a natural part of the learning process. When you fail, you learn from your mistakes, and you can use that knowledge to grow and improve. 2. Be open to new challenges. Don't be afraid to take on new challenges, even if they seem difficult or intimidating. Embrace the opportunity to learn and grow. 3. Take responsibility for your own growth. Don't wait for others to tell you what to do or how to develop. Take the initiative and create your own growth plan. 4. Stay flexible and adaptable. Be willing to adapt to changing circumstances and to be flexible in your approach to challenges. 5. Focus on continuous learning. Never stop learning and growing. Make learning a lifelong habit and always look for new opportunities to develop your skills and knowledge. Scalability is a powerful concept that can help individuals thrive in chaos by growing and expanding. It is about having a growth mindset, being adaptable and flexible, and taking responsibility for your own growth and development. By embracing scalability, you can become more resilient, resourceful, and capable of handling the challenges and demands of life. Again, scalability is a crucial concept in business and can be applied to individuals as well. It refers to the ability of a system, process, or organization to handle increasing amounts of work and growth without compromising its efficiency or performance. In other words, it can also mean the ability to do more with less. One area where scalability plays a significant role is in the entertainment industry. For example, consider the difference between a studio musician and a performing musician. A studio musician is hired to record music in a studio, and the royalties they earn from the music they help create will continue to come in even if they're not present in the studio. This business model offers scalability, as the musician can record for multiple projects simultaneously, meaning their earning potential is not limited to the time they spend in the studio. By contrast, a performing musician can only perform one show at a time, which limits their earning potential. However, there are examples of performers who have been able to achieve scalability, such as the Blue Man Group. The Blue Man Group is a theatrical performance art company that features three bald and blue characters who wear custom made makeup and costumes. By hiring multiple performers to play the characters, the group was able to scale their shows and perform in multiple locations simultaneously. But scalability is not just limited to the entertainment industry. It can be applied to any area of life. For example, a freelancer or consultant can increase their scalability by creating and selling digital products or online courses in addition to their consulting work. A teacher can increase their scalability by creating educational materials that can be distributed to a larger audience. Scalability provides individuals with the opportunity to reach more people, increase their earning potential, and grow their business or personal brand. It requires a focus on efficiency and a willingness to invest time in creating systems that can handle growth. It is also essential to stay open to new opportunities and to be creative in finding ways to increase scalability. Scalability is a critical concept that individuals can use to help them grow and thrive in the face of chaos. It provides a way to do more with less and to create opportunities for growth and success. While scalability may require investment and effort up front, the benefits of being scalable can be immense, and it is a concept worth exploring for anyone looking to achieve Akshaya. Individuals can also benefit from incorporating the concept of scalability into their daily lives. This means finding ways to leverage their time and resources to increase their impact or output. One way to do this is by developing skills or knowledge that can be applied in a variety of contexts. For example, a person who is skilled in writing can produce articles, blog posts, and other content that can be distributed and shared widely, reaching a larger audience than if they were limited to one medium or platform. Another way to be more scalable is by building systems or processes that can be repeated or automated. This means breaking down tasks into smaller, more manageable components and finding ways of streamlining and optimizing each step. For example, a person who runs a small business can create a standard operating procedure for how orders are processed, so that they can hire additional staff or outsource the work without sacrificing quality or consistency. Finally, individuals can also be more scalable by developing their leadership and coaching skills. By mentoring and training others, they can leverage their time and knowledge to help others achieve their goals and contribute to their own success. This can be done in a variety of contexts, from volunteer work to managing a team at work. In short, by adopting a mindset of scalability and finding ways to leverage their time and resources, individuals can grow and thrive even in the face of chaos and uncertainty. This can help them achieve their goals and make a greater impact on the world around them. Scalability is a concept that can be applied to any aspect of life, including household chores and time management. By being more scalable in these areas, individuals can free up more time and energy to pursue their goals and thrive even in the face of chaos. One way to achieve scalability in household chores is to automate or delegate tasks whenever possible. For example, investing in a dishwasher, a laundry machine, and a vacuum cleaner can greatly reduce the time and effort required to maintain a clean and organized living space. Similarly, delegating tasks to other family members or hiring outside help can free up more time and mental energy for other pursuits. In terms of time management, scalability can be achieved by breaking down larger tasks into smaller, more manageable ones, and by prioritizing the most important ones first. By doing this, individuals can prevent overwhelm and ensure they are using their time and energy in the most efficient and effective way possible. Another way to achieve scalability in time management is to use technology and tools to streamline tasks and increase productivity. For example, using a calendar and task management apps can help individuals stay organized and on track, while automation tools like email filters and social media schedulers can free up more time for other activities. Overall, the key to achieving scalability in household chores and time management is to approach these tasks with a strategic mindset and a willingness to leverage technology and outside help to optimize efficiency and effectiveness. By doing so, individuals can free up more time and energy to pursue their goals and thrive even in the face of chaos. Scalability can be an incredibly useful tool in helping individuals achieve Akshaya, regardless of their circumstances. The ability to scale up or down as needed allows individuals to adapt to changing circumstances and continue to grow and thrive even in the face of chaos. For example, consider a person who starts a business from their home. Initially, they're the only employee, and they handle everything from product development to marketing to sales. As the business grows, however, they need to scale up their operations. They may begin by hiring a few employees to handle specific tasks, such as customer service or manufacturing. As the business continues to grow, they may need to expand their production facilities, hire more staff, and develop new products or services. By scaling their business in this way, the individual is able to continue to grow and thrive, even in the face of challenges. The concept of scalability can also be applied to personal finances. By developing scalable financial plans and investments, individuals can ensure they are able to weather unexpected expenses or changes in income. For example, by investing in a diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, and real estate, individuals can ensure that their finances are able to grow over time, while also being protected from sudden market downturns. By developing a scalable budget, individuals can also ensure that their expenses are able to grow or shrink as needed, allowing them to adapt to changes in income or expenses. Finally, scalability can also be applied to personal development. By developing scalable skills and habits, individuals can continue to grow and learn throughout their lives, regardless of their circumstances. For example, by developing a habit of reading or learning new skills, individuals can continue to improve themselves, even in the face of adversity. By developing scalable relationships with mentors or teachers, individuals can ensure that they always have access to the resources and guidance they need to continue to grow and develop. In short, scalability is an essential concept for individuals seeking to achieve Akshaya. By developing scalable businesses, finances, and personal development plans, individuals can ensure that they are able to adapt and thrive no matter what challenges they might face. In the early 2000s, many businesses were disrupted by the SARS outbreak in Asia. A small coffee chain in Taiwan called 85 degrees Celsius Bakery Cafe was able to scale quickly and thrive during the crisis. They had a unique business model that allowed them to set up a new location in as little as 2 weeks. This meant that as the SARS outbreak spread, they were able to open new stores quickly, giving customers a safe place to get food and drinks outside their homes. By being able to scale so quickly, 85 degrees Celsius Bakery Cafe was able to grow its customer base, and they continued to expand after the crisis was over. They are now a major player in the Taiwanese and international coffee industry. This example shows how being scalable can help a business not only survive a negative event, but also thrive in the long term. Another example of how scalability helped someone in a negative circumstance is the story of the company Airbnb. In the early days of Airbnb, the company was struggling to gain traction and attract users. However, the founders of the company realized that there was an opportunity to scale the business in a unique way. At the time, a major design conference was coming to San Francisco, and all the hotels in the city were booked. The founders of Airbnb saw an opportunity to leverage their platform and offer housing to attendees of the conference. They were able to quickly and efficiently onboard hosts and get them set up to offer their homes to attendees. This turned out to be a huge success, and the company gained a significant amount of users and attention as a result. The founders of Airbnb were able to use scalability to turn a negative situation, the lack of available hotel rooms in San Francisco, into a positive one that help them grow, and ultimately achieve success. Principle 4. Transparency. In today's world, transparency is more important than ever. The internet and social media have made it easy for people to share information and communicate with each other. This has led to a growing demand for transparency in all aspects of life. Transparency can be defined as the quality of being open, honest, and accountable. It involves sharing information freely and being willing to answer questions and address concerns. Transparency has many benefits for individuals. It allows people to build trust with others, which is essential for healthy relationships. It also allows individuals to make informed decisions, as they have access to all the relevant information. In addition, transparency can help people to identify and address problems early on, before they become too big to manage. Transparency is particularly important in times of chaos and uncertainty. When things are going wrong, people want to know what is happening and why. They want to be able to trust that those in charge are doing everything they can to address the situation. Without transparency, it is easy for people to lose faith in their leaders and become disillusioned. In this chapter, we will explore the power of transparency and how it can be used by individuals to help them grow and thrive even in the face of chaos. We will look at real-life examples of individuals who have used transparency to their advantage and examine the benefits of transparency in different contexts. One of the most significant benefits of transparency is that it builds trust. When people feel like they have all the information, they're more likely to trust others. This is particularly important in business, where trust is essential for building successful relationships. Companies that are transparent about their operations and policies are more likely to be trusted by customers and partners. This, in turn, can lead to increased sales and greater opportunities for growth. Transparency is also crucial for personal growth. When people are transparent with themselves and others, they are more likely to identify areas where they need to improve. This can be challenging, as it involves admitting weaknesses and mistakes. However, by doing so, individuals can learn from their experiences and become better versions of themselves. In times of chaos and uncertainty, transparency is essential for maintaining order and stability. When people know what is happening and why, they are better able to cope with difficult situations. This is true at both the individual and organizational levels. Leaders who are transparent about their decision-making processes and the challenges they face are more likely to inspire confidence and trust in their followers. Transparency is a powerful tool that can help individuals grow and thrive in all aspects of life. By being open, honest, and accountable, people can build trust with others, make informed decisions, and identify and address problems early on. In times of chaos and uncertainty, transparency is particularly important for maintaining order and stability. By embracing transparency, individuals can become more resilient and better able to navigate the challenges that life throws their way. Transparency can be a powerful tool for people in positions of power to protect themselves against attacks on their reputation. By being upfront and honest about who they are, what they stand for, and what they've done in the past, individuals can create a foundation of trust with others. This foundation can help protect them against misunderstandings or scandals. For example, imagine a politician who has been accused of taking bribes. If that politician had been transparent about their finances and had made all their financial records public, it would be much harder for their accusers to prove that they had taken bribes. On the other hand, if the politician had been secretive about their finances, it would be much easier for their accusers to make the case that they had something to hide. Similarly, if a business owner is transparent about their business practices, it can help protect them against attacks on their reputation. For example, if a business owner is accused of using unethical practices to cut costs, but has been transparent about their supply chain and has documentation to prove that they have not engaged in those practices, it would be much harder for their accusers to make a case against them. Transparency can also help individuals avoid misunderstandings. By being open about their intentions, individuals can ensure that others understand what they are trying to achieve. This can help prevent others from misinterpreting their actions or assuming the worst about their motives. In order to be transparent, individuals must be willing to be vulnerable. They must be willing to admit their mistakes, discuss their weaknesses, and be open about their flaws. This can be uncomfortable, but it is essential for building trust and protecting their reputation. Overall, transparency is an important tool for individuals to protect themselves against attacks on their reputation. By being upfront and honest about who they are, individuals can create a foundation of trust with others that can help them thrive even in the face of chaos. Consider the case of Dave Carroll, a Canadian musician who had a negative experience with United Airlines. In 2008, Carroll's Taylor guitar was broken by United Airlines baggage handlers during a flight, and United refused to take responsibility for the damage. After several unsuccessful attempts to get United to compensate him for the damage, Carroll decided to write a song about his experience and post it on YouTube. The song, titled United Breaks Guitars, went viral and became an international sensation, garnering millions of views and media attention. The song's lyrics were a witty and scathing indictment of United Airlines customer service, and Carroll's story quickly became a symbol of corporate negligence and the power of social media. As a result of the negative publicity, United Airlines stock dropped by 10% within 4 days of the song's release, resulting in a loss of $180 million in shareholder value. Carroll's sharing of his negative experience with the world ultimately led to United Airlines changing their policies regarding the handling of musical instruments and compensating Carroll for the damage to his guitar. The incident also highlighted the importance of transparency in today's digital age, as individuals and companies alike can no longer hide behind closed doors and expect to maintain a positive reputation. One example of an organization that benefited from transparency during a negative circumstance is the restaurant chain Chipotle. In 2015, there was an outbreak of E. coli and norovirus linked to Chipotle restaurants across the United States. The company was initially criticized for not being transparent about the situation and for not providing enough information to customers. However, once Chipotle realized the severity of the situation, they quickly became transparent about what had happened and what they were doing to address it. They shut down affected restaurants, launched a comprehensive food safety program, and started posting regular updates on their website about the outbreak and their response to it. By being transparent about the situation, Chipotle was able to regain the trust of their customers and begin the process of rebuilding their brand. While the outbreak was a negative circumstance, the company was able to turn it around and become even stronger through their commitment to transparency. When individuals and organizations are transparent about their values, policies, and actions, it sets clear expectations for behavior and creates a culture of accountability. It also allows for open communication and feedback, which can help identify and address potential issues before they escalate. For example, a company that is transparent about its commitment to diversity and inclusion is more likely to attract and retain employees who share those values. By providing clear guidelines and policies around harassment and discrimination, the company can also create a safe and respectful work environment for all employees. Transparency can also help build trust with customers and stakeholders. By being upfront about business practices, such as pricing and supply chain management, companies can establish credibility and demonstrate their commitment to ethical behavior. This can lead to stronger relationships with customers, increased brand loyalty, and, ultimately, greater success in the marketplace. In summary, transparency is a powerful tool for individuals and organizations to prevent negative behavior, build trust, and ultimately thrive in the face of chaos. Here are some tips on how to practice transparency. 1. Be honest with yourself. The first step towards being transparent is being honest with yourself about who you are, what you believe, and how you want to present yourself to others. Take time to reflect on your values and beliefs, and be willing to acknowledge and address any areas where you may be tempted to hide or misrepresent yourself. 2. Communicate openly. Communication is key to transparency. Be open and honest with others about your thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, express your opinions, or share your experiences. 3. Share your mistakes and failures. Nobody is perfect, and being transparent means being willing to admit your mistakes and failures. Don't be afraid to share your shortcomings and be willing to learn from them. Doing so can help build trust and credibility with others. 4. Be consistent. Consistency is important in building trust and maintaining transparency. Be consistent in your actions, decisions, and communication, and don't be afraid to hold yourself accountable to your values and commitments. 5. Listen actively. Transparency is a two-way street, and it's important to listen actively to others as well. Be open to feedback and be willing to acknowledge and address any concerns or criticisms that others might have. 6. Be willing to be vulnerable. Being transparent often requires being vulnerable. Be willing to share your thoughts, feelings, and experiences, even if they make you feel uncomfortable or exposed. Doing so can help build deeper connections and foster trust with others. Remember, transparency is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and effort to build and maintain transparency, but the benefits can be significant, both personally and professionally. Principle 5. Response speed. The world is full of unpredictability, and often events occur without warning or expectation. These random events can have a significant impact on an individual's life, causing chaos and confusion. Response speed is a crucial element in dealing with such unexpected situations. It is the ability to react quickly, decisively, and effectively to events as they occur, regardless of their nature or magnitude. In this chapter, we will discuss the importance of response speed, its benefits, and how individuals can develop this essential skill. Benefits of response speed. Response speed is an essential trait to possess, and it can have many benefits in an individual's personal and professional life. It can help individuals to 1. Avoid or mitigate the effects of unexpected events. The ability to respond quickly to a sudden or unexpected event can help individuals avoid or reduce the impact of the event. 2. Make informed decisions. Response speed allows individuals to gather information quickly, assess the situation, and make informed decisions. 3. Stay ahead of the competition. In today's fast-paced world, response speed is critical for individuals and organizations to stay ahead of the competition. Being able to react quickly and effectively to market changes or technological advancements can provide a significant advantage. 4. Maintain credibility. Response speed is also essential for individuals who need to maintain their credibility or reputation. Promptly addressing concerns or issues can help build trust and establish a positive image. Developing response speed. The ability to respond quickly to events is a skill that can be developed and improved with practice. Here are some tips to help individuals develop their response speed. 1. Anticipate and prepare. One of the best ways to improve response speed is to anticipate potential situations and prepare accordingly. Create a plan of action for different scenarios and be ready to act when needed. 2. Stay informed. Staying up to date with news, trends, and changes in your industry or community can help you anticipate events and respond quickly. 3. Stay organized. Being organized can help individuals respond quickly and efficiently. Keep important documents and information easily accessible, and have a clear understanding of priorities. 4. Practice decision-making. Practice making quick decisions in low-stress situations to develop decision-making skills that can be applied in high-pressure situations. 5. Learn from experience. Analyze past experiences and learn from successes and failures. Identify areas for improvement and make necessary adjustments. Response speed is a critical skill that individuals must develop to thrive in the face of chaos and unexpected events. The ability to respond quickly, decisively, and effectively can have many benefits, including the ability to avoid or mitigate the effects of unexpected events, make informed decisions, stay ahead of the competition, and maintain credibility. By anticipating and preparing for potential situations, staying informed, staying organized, practicing decision-making, and learning from experience, individuals can develop this essential skill and be better equipped to handle whatever life throws their way. Response speed doesn't always mean taking quick or forced action. Sometimes the best response is to do nothing at all and allow events to unfold naturally. This concept is known as Wu Wei in Chinese philosophy, which translates to non-doing or doing nothing. Wu Wei emphasizes the importance of being in tune with the natural flow of events and acting only when necessary. In the face of chaos and random events, it can be tempting to take immediate action to try to gain control of the situation. However, Wu Wei reminds us that sometimes the best course of action is to wait and watch, observing the situation before making any decisions. This can help us avoid making hasty or ill-informed decisions that may only exacerbate the problem. By practicing Wu Wei, we can learn to be more patient, attentive, and mindful in our actions. We can develop a better understanding of when action is necessary and when it's best to let things unfold naturally. This can help us to respond more effectively and efficiently to unpredictable events and maintain a sense of balance and harmony in our lives. Of course, practicing Wu Wei does not mean being passive or complacent. It is still important to be prepared and take action when necessary, but with the understanding that sometimes the best action is no action at all. By being patient, observant, and in tune with the natural flow of events, we can develop a more holistic approach to responding to chaos and random events, and ultimately become more effective and successful in our lives. One example of someone using response speed to benefit from a negative event is the story of how John Paul DeJoria, co-founder of the hair care company John Paul Mitchell Systems, responded to a major setback in the company's early days. In the 1980s, the company was just starting out and was heavily dependent on a single distributor to get their products to market. However, that distributor abruptly stopped doing business with them, leaving John Paul Mitchell Systems in a dire situation. Instead of panicking, DeJoria immediately took action and began calling every salon he could find in the phone book to sell the company's products directly to them. He even personally delivered products to salons himself to get the company's products back on shelves as quickly as possible. Through his quick response and tireless efforts, John Paul Mitchell Systems was able to recover from the setback and eventually become one of the most successful hair care companies in the world. This example shows how response speed can help a person or organization bounce back quickly from a negative event and turn it into a positive opportunity for growth and success. After Hurricane Sandy hit the east coast of the United States in 2012, many homeowners were left with damaged homes and properties. One woman, however, was able to use response speed to her advantage. She owned a construction company and quickly began mobilizing her team to provide repair and rebuilding services to those affected by the storm. By responding quickly and efficiently, she was able to not only provide much-needed services to those in need, but also grow her business significantly. She was even featured in several news articles for her efforts, which helped bring in even more business. While the hurricane was a negative event for many, this woman was able to turn it into a positive outcome for herself and her business by responding quickly and effectively to the situation at hand. Principle 6. Portability. Personal portability equals cultivating a nomadic mindset. Let's face it, change is a constant, and the ability to adapt to different situations is crucial. In order to be successful in the face of chaos and random circumstance, one needs to cultivate a nomadic mindset, which is the ability to be able to pick up and leave any situation or location at a moment's notice. I like to call this mindset personal portability. Personal portability is about not having too many attachments that you have to unwind should you need to change positions, locations, or sometimes even beliefs and opinions. It is the ability to adapt to any situation quickly and effectively without being bogged down by emotional or physical baggage. This mindset can be applied to all areas of life, from personal relationships to career choices. By cultivating personal portability, you can learn to let go of unnecessary attachments and focus on what is truly important. One of the most important aspects of personal portability is the ability to travel light. This means having a minimalistic approach to material possessions and only keeping what is essential. The fewer possessions you have, the easier it is to pack up and move on to the next adventure. Personal portability also involves being flexible in your plans and goals. It means being open to change and being willing to adjust your course when necessary. By being adaptable, you are better equipped to handle unexpected challenges and opportunities that may arise. Another important aspect of personal portability is being able to work remotely. With the rise of technology and the internet, more and more jobs can be done from anywhere in the world. This means that you can work from home or travel while still being able to earn a living. Cultivating a nomadic mindset also means being open to new experiences and learning opportunities. By embracing new cultures, people, and environments, you can expand your knowledge and skills, which can be beneficial in both your personal and professional life. In other words, personal portability is the ability to be adaptable, flexible, and minimalistic. It is about being able to pack up and leave at a moment's notice without being held back by emotional or physical attachments. By cultivating this mindset, you can thrive in the face of chaos and random circumstance and be better equipped to handle any challenges that come your way. One example of how personal portability has helped someone benefit from random circumstance is the story of Kirsty Henderson, a digital nomad and freelance writer. Kirsty was living in the UK, working a 9-to-5 job and feeling unfulfilled. She had always dreamed of traveling and exploring the world, but felt stuck in her current situation. One day, she decided to take the leap and become a digital nomad, someone who works remotely and can work from anywhere in the world. She quit her job, sold her belongings, and started traveling the world while working as a freelance writer. While she was traveling in Southeast Asia, Kirsty found herself in a small town in Vietnam when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Suddenly, the world was in chaos and borders were closing. Many travelers found themselves stranded, unable to leave the countries they were in. But because Kirsty had cultivated a personal portability mindset, she was able to adapt quickly. She realized that she could work remotely from anywhere, so she decided to stay put in Vietnam and continue working. She was able to rent an apartment and continue living and working in the town where she had been stranded. As the pandemic continued, Kirsty was able to use her personal portability mindset to her advantage. She was able to explore more of Vietnam, and when travel restrictions eased, she was able to travel to nearby countries like Thailand and Cambodia. She even started a blog and social media accounts to document her travels and share tips for other digital nomads. Kirsty's personal portability mindset allowed her to thrive in the face of chaos and uncertainty. She was able to adapt quickly to changing circumstances and turn a potentially negative situation into an opportunity for growth and exploration. Another example of how someone benefited from personal portability in the face of a negative event is the story of Jim Koch, the founder of Boston beer company Samuel Adams. In the early 1990s, the beer industry was facing a downturn, and many of the larger beer companies were consolidating and shutting down smaller breweries. Koch's company was struggling and facing bankruptcy. Instead of giving up, Koch made the decision to go on a cross-country tour in a van with his beer, selling it directly to bars and restaurants. He lived out of the van, sleeping on a cot in the back and driving around the country for months at a time. This allowed him to have the personal portability necessary to adapt to the changing circumstances and connect with his customers in a more personal way. Through this tour, Koch was able to generate buzz and interest in his beer, and eventually the company was able to turn a profit and grow. Today, Boston Beer Company is one of the largest craft breweries in the world. Koch's willingness to be portable and adapt to the changing circumstances allowed him to survive and thrive in an industry that was facing significant challenges. Here are some tips on how to become more personally portable. 1. Embrace minimalism. The less stuff you have, the easier it is to pick up and move. Consider decluttering your possessions and keeping only the essentials. 2. Develop a portable career. Look for career options that allow you to work remotely or take your job on the go. This could be a freelance work, consulting, or a job that doesn't require you to be tied to a specific location. 3. Build a strong network. Having a network of friends, family, and colleagues who can help you in a time of need can make a huge difference in your ability to be personally portable. Make connections with people from all walks of life and build relationships that can support you no matter where you go. 4. Cultivate a sense of adaptability. Being able to adapt to new situations quickly is key to being personally portable. Practice being flexible and open to change in your daily life to build this skill. 5. Learn to let go. Being personally portable requires a willingness to let go of attachments and routines that can tie you down. Practice letting go of things that no longer serve you and be open to new experiences and opportunities. Principle 7. Tolerance for misinformation. We are constantly inundated with a never-ending stream of information. Unfortunately, not all this information is accurate, true, or even relevant. Misinformation is rampant, and it can be challenging to distinguish fact from fiction especially during times of chaos. A lot of this chapter will be about being able to discriminate between real information and distracting noise and flat-out wrong information. But actually being able to tolerate the nonsense is just as important. So when we talk about tolerance, it will include a healthy intolerance component to the term, but we don't want to get overwhelmed by our intolerance. Tolerance for misinformation is an essential skill in being able to benefit from chaos and randomness. The ability to sift through the noise and separate true information from misinformation can provide an edge in navigating the unpredictable and chaotic world we live in. However, it's not just about being able to identify accurate information, it's also about tolerating the existence of misinformation. Being too quick to dismiss information that doesn't align with our beliefs can lead to a narrow-minded view of the world, limiting our ability to see and capitalize on opportunities. It's crucial to approach information with an open mind, but also with a critical eye. One should always question the source, credibility, and motives behind the information they receive. Being open to learning new perspectives and ideas while maintaining a healthy dose of skepticism can allow for a more nuanced and accurate understanding of the world. Tolerance for misinformation also means understanding that not all information is relevant to us. In a world where information is constantly bombarding us, it's essential to filter out the noise and focus on the information that matters most to us. This means being able to prioritize and discern what information is essential to our goals and objectives. It's important to note that tolerance for misinformation doesn't mean accepting falsehoods as truth. Rather, it's about having the flexibility to adjust our understanding of the world as new information becomes available. In this way, we can remain adaptable and take advantage of opportunities that arise from chaotic and unpredictable circumstances. Tolerance for misinformation is an essential skill in navigating the chaotic and unpredictable world we live in. Being able to discriminate real information from misinformation while maintaining an open mind and critical eye can provide an edge in finding opportunities and making informed decisions. Currently, as of this writing, we are bombarded with a constant stream of information from various sources such as news channels, social media, and messaging apps. This information overload can lead to feelings of anxiety, stress, and frustration. It is essential to have the emotional capacity to tolerate this bombardment of information to avoid becoming overwhelmed and succumbing to the negative emotions associated with it. One way to increase emotional tolerance is through mindfulness practices. Mindfulness teaches us to be present in the moment and observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. This practice allows us to develop a sense of detachment from the information overload and see it from a more objective perspective. Another way to increase emotional tolerance is through cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT helps us to recognize negative thought patterns and replace them with more positive ones. By challenging negative thoughts and focusing on evidence-based facts, we can reduce the emotional impact of misinformation. It is important to note that emotional tolerance does not mean being complacent in the face of misinformation. Rather, it is about being able to recognize and manage our emotions so that we can make more rational decisions. By increasing our emotional tolerance, we can avoid the negative effects of sensory overload and remain focused on the important information that will help us benefit from chaos and randomness. Choice paralysis, also known as analysis paralysis, is a phenomenon where too many options can lead to difficulty in making decisions. It is a form of cognitive overload that can result in anxiety, stress, and even depression. With the proliferation of information available through the internet and social media, people today face a greater risk of choice paralysis than ever before. When faced with too many options, people can become overwhelmed and struggle to make a decision. This can result in procrastination, indecision, and inaction. In some cases, it can even lead to decision fatigue, where the person becomes so exhausted by the decision-making process that they can no longer make good choices. Choice paralysis can also lead to feelings of regret, as the person may feel that they made the wrong choice or missed out on a better option. This can be particularly challenging when it comes to important decisions such as choosing a career path, a life partner, or a major investment. To avoid choice paralysis, it's important to be aware of the risk factors and take steps to manage them. This can include setting clear goals and priorities, limiting the number of options under consideration, breaking down complex decisions into smaller, more manageable tasks, and seeking out expert advice and guidance when needed. In addition, it is important to be aware of the role that emotions can play in decision making. Emotions can cloud judgment and lead to impulsive decisions, so it is important to take the time to reflect on the decision and consider all of the available information before making a choice. Ultimately, the key to avoiding choice paralysis is to develop the ability to discriminate between real and fake information and focus on the information that is most relevant to the decision at hand. This requires a level of emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and information literacy that can be developed through practice and experience. By learning to manage information overload and make effective decisions, individuals can navigate the complexities of the modern world and benefit from the chaos and randomness of life. During the Ebola outbreak in West Africa in 2014, misinformation and rumors were rampant, causing widespread panic and fear. In the midst of this chaos, a group of young volunteers in Liberia decided to take action by creating the Ebola Response Network, the ERN, a grassroots organization aimed at combating the spread of misinformation and educating people about the virus. The ERN team consisted of young people from different backgrounds who came together to use social media to disseminate accurate information about Ebola and to dispel myths and rumors. They used platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp to share infographics, videos, and articles about the virus, its symptoms, and prevention measures. They also created a hotline that people could call to get accurate information and help. Their efforts were successful in reducing the spread of misinformation and calming people's fears. By being tolerant of the misinformation and taking action to combat it, the ERN team was able to help people during a chaotic and scary time. There were also people who were able to tolerate the misinformation on an individual level and take action to help. One such person was Dr. Ada Igono, a Nigerian doctor who was working at a hospital in Liberia when the outbreak began. Dr. Igono quickly realized that the information being shared about the disease was often inaccurate or incomplete. She used her medical expertise to research the disease and gather accurate information, which she then shared with her colleagues and the public through social media. Through her efforts, Dr. Igono was able to help dispel some of the misinformation surrounding the disease and encourage people to take proper precautions. She also helped to establish a treatment center for Ebola patients and was one of the few doctors who survived after contracting the disease herself. Dr. Igono's ability to tolerate the misinformation surrounding the Ebola outbreak allowed her to take action and make a difference in a time of chaos and uncertainty. A good example of how someone benefited from tolerance of misinformation in the face of a negative event is the case of Korean Air Flight 007. In 1983, the civilian airliner was shot down by a Soviet fighter jet after straying into Soviet airspace. All 269 people on board, including 61 Americans, were killed. After the incident, the South Korean government initially denied any wrongdoing, and it was not until the Soviet Union released its own version of events that the truth began to emerge. However, the families of the victims did not receive official confirmation of the Soviet responsibility until several years later. In the face of this misinformation and denial, the families of the victims could have become overwhelmed and disheartened in their pursuit of the truth. However, they persisted in their efforts, forming advocacy groups and pressuring the government for answers. Eventually, their efforts paid off, and the truth was revealed. Through their tolerance for misinformation and their determination to seek the truth, the families of the victims were able to find closure and hold those responsible accountable. The term red herring refers to a type of misinformation that is intentionally or unintentionally used to distract or divert attention from the real issue or problem. It can be used in various contexts, such as in politics, marketing, and everyday communication. In the context of chaos and random events, red herring information can be particularly harmful, as it can lead to confusion, indecision, and wasted time and resources. For example, in a crisis situation, False information about the severity or location of the problem can cause people to take inappropriate or ineffective actions. Red herring information can also be used to manipulate people's opinions or behavior. For instance, in political campaigns, candidates may use irrelevant or misleading information to distract voters from the real issues at hand or to discredit their opponents. Therefore, it is important to be able to identify and filter out red herring information. This can be done by developing critical thinking skills, verifying sources, and focusing on relevant and reliable information. By doing so, individuals can make more informed decisions and avoid being misled or distracted by irrelevant or false information. Here are some tips on how to be more tolerant of misinformation. 1. Practice critical thinking. Developing your critical thinking skills can help you evaluate information and distinguish facts from opinions, biases, or propaganda. 2. Check multiple sources. Instead of relying on a single source of information, seek out multiple perspectives and sources that offer different viewpoints and opinions. 3. Be open-minded. Be willing to consider other perspectives and ideas, even if they contradict your beliefs or opinions. Keeping an open mind can help you avoid getting stuck in an echo chamber of your own biases. 4. Verify information. Before sharing information, double-check the sources and verify the accuracy of the information. This can help prevent the spread of misinformation and false claims. 5. Manage your emotions. It can be challenging to deal with misinformation, particularly when it affects your values or beliefs. Try to manage your emotional responses and avoid reacting impulsively. 6. Take breaks. Give yourself a break from the constant flow of information, especially during times of high stress or anxiety. Take the time to do something enjoyable or relaxing to help you recharge your batteries. 7. Focus on what you can control. Rather than worrying about the vast amount of misinformation in the world, focus on what you can control and the actions you can take to make a positive impact. Principle 8. Tolerance for a lack of information. As opposed to being overwhelmed by the bombardment of misinformation, tolerance for a lack of information equals thriving in the face of uncertainty. In a fast-paced and rapidly changing situation, it's not uncommon to be faced with a lack of information. In fact, it's becoming increasingly common to have to make decisions in the face of uncertainty and to do so with a limited amount of information at hand. In such situations, it's essential to have a high tolerance for a lack of information in order to thrive and make decisions that can benefit from chaos. Tolerance for a lack of information is the ability to remain calm and focused in the face of uncertainty and to be able to make decisions based on incomplete or imperfect information. This skill is especially important in times of chaos and uncertainty when decisions need to be made quickly and with limited information. One of the key aspects of tolerance for a lack of information is the ability to be comfortable with ambiguity. This means that you are able to embrace the unknown and the uncertain and to be comfortable without having all the answers. It also means being able to accept that there may be multiple possible outcomes to a situation and being prepared for any of them. Another important aspect of this skill is the ability to think critically and creatively. When faced with a lack of information, it's important to be able to think outside the box and come up with innovative solutions to problems. This may involve taking risks and trying new things, as well as being open to different perspectives and approaches. Tolerance for a lack of information is an essential skill in navigating chaos and randomness. Often, people are paralyzed by indecision or make hasty decisions because they don't have all the information they need. However, sometimes there simply isn't enough information available, and being able to tolerate this uncertainty can be the key to success. In many situations, decisions need to be made quickly, and it's not always possible to gather all the information necessary to make an informed choice. This is particularly true in chaotic or rapidly changing environments. However, the ability to tolerate a lack of information means that individuals can make quick, effective decisions even when they don't have all the answers. This can be especially valuable when others are struggling with indecision or are being slowed down by the need to gather more information. As mentioned, a key aspect of this skill is the ability to tolerate ambiguity. Instead of feeling anxious or frustrated by not knowing everything, individuals who can tolerate a lack of information are comfortable with uncertainty and can use it as a tool to help them make better decisions. They are able to remain focused on what they do know, rather than getting bogged down by what they don't know. An example of someone who has successfully used this skill is Steve Jobs. When developing the first iPhone, there was a lack of information about what consumers really wanted in a mobile device. Instead of waiting for more information, Jobs made quick decisions based on his own intuition and a few key pieces of data. He famously said, "It's not about money. It's about the people you have, how you're led, and how much you get it." Jobs' ability to tolerate a lack of information and rely on his intuition was a key factor in the success of the iPhone. Another example of someone who has successfully used this skill is Elon Musk. When developing the Tesla electric car, there was a lack of information about the viability of the electric car market. However, Musk was able to make quick decisions based on his belief in the future of sustainable energy and his confidence in the technology. His ability to tolerate a lack of information and make decisions based on his instincts has made him one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our time. To cultivate the skill of tolerance for a lack of information, it's important to focus on what you do know rather than what you don't know. This means staying focused on your goals and priorities and making decisions based on the information that you have available. It also means developing your intuition and learning to trust your gut instincts. By developing these skills, you can become more comfortable with uncertainty and more effective at making decisions in chaotic or rapidly changing environments. Here are some tips on how to be more tolerant of a lack of information. 1. Stay calm and patient. Accept that sometimes you may not have all the information you need, and it's okay to wait for it. Be patient and don't rush into decisions or actions until you have enough information to make informed choices. 2. Ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can to gain as much information as possible. Don't be afraid to seek out different perspectives or sources of information. 3. Make assumptions with caution. When you don't have enough information, you may be tempted to make assumptions to fill in the gaps. However, it's important to be cautious with assumptions and verify them with further information. 4. Be flexible. Being open to changing your perspective or plans based on new information that becomes available. Don't cling to a particular idea or course of action just because it was your initial plan. 5. Use intuition and instincts. Sometimes when you don't have enough information, your intuition and instincts can guide you in the right direction. Learn to trust your gut feeling and use it as a tool for decision-making when you're lacking information. 6. Embrace uncertainty. Accept that uncertainty is a part of life and that you can learn to navigate through it. Cultivate a sense of comfort with ambiguity and be willing to take risks and explore new possibilities, even in the face of uncertainty. Principle 9. Learning speed. Learning speed equals unlocking the power of rapid learning in times of chaos. In times of chaos and uncertainty, the ability to learn quickly can be a powerful advantage. Learning speed refers to the rate at which an individual can go through the learning process, and it is a skill that can be developed and honed over time. Whether it's a new job, a new environment, or a new set of circumstances, those who can learn quickly will be better equipped to thrive in a changing and unpredictable world. Learning speed is about more than just absorbing information quickly. It is about being able to process that information, make connections, and apply it in a meaningful way. In a fast-paced world, the ability to quickly learn can mean the difference between success and failure. The first step in developing learning speed is to cultivate a growth mindset. This means embracing the idea that intelligence and abilities can be developed through hard work and dedication. People with a growth mindset are more likely to take on challenges and view failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. The next step is to develop a system for learning that works for you. This might include breaking down complex concepts into smaller, more manageable pieces, using memory techniques like mnemonics or visualization, or leveraging technology tools to make learning more efficient. The key is to find what works best for your individual learning style and preferences. Another important aspect of learning speed is being able to learn from others. This means seeking out mentors, coaches, or peers who can offer guidance and support. It also means being open to feedback and constructive criticism, and using it to improve your skills and knowledge. Finally, It is important to be intentional and strategic about what you choose to learn. In times of chaos, there may be an overwhelming amount of information and stimuli coming at you from all directions. By focusing on what is most important and relevant to your goals and objectives, you can avoid getting bogged down in irrelevant details and distractions. Learning speed is not just a valuable skill for individuals, but for organizations as well. Companies that can learn quickly and adapt to changing circumstances are more likely to succeed in today's fast-paced and ever-changing business environment. Learning speed is a critical skill for thriving in times of chaos and uncertainty. By cultivating a growth mindset, developing effective learning systems, learning from others, and being intentional about what you choose to learn, you can unlock the power of rapid learning and gain a competitive advantage in any situation. Here are some real-world examples of how learning speed was used to actually benefit from random circumstance. 1. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many people were faced with job loss and financial hardship. However, some individuals quickly adapted by learning new skills and starting their own businesses. For example, some people who were laid off from their jobs in the hospitality industry learned how to make and sell homemade masks, while others started their own online tutoring or coaching businesses. 2. In 2017, Hurricane Harvey devastated parts of Texas, causing widespread flooding and damage. However, many people used the disaster as an opportunity to learn about disaster preparedness and response. For example, some residents of Houston formed volunteer groups to help with rescue and recovery efforts, while others took classes on first aid, emergency management, and other related topics. 3. In 2008, the global financial crisis led to widespread layoffs and economic turmoil. However, some people used the crisis as an opportunity to learn new skills and pursue new career paths. For example, some individuals who were laid off from their jobs in the finance industry used their knowledge and experience to start their own consulting businesses or pursue careers in other industries. In all these examples, people who were able to quickly learn new skills and adapt to changing circumstances were able to benefit from negative events and turn them into opportunities for growth and success. A great example of an individual person using learning speed to benefit from chaos is the story of Charles Best, the founder of DonorsChoose.org. In the early 2000s, Best was a teacher at a high-poverty school in the Bronx, New York. He found himself frustrated by the lack of resources available to his students and decided to take action. With no experience in fundraising or website design, Best taught himself the necessary skills to create DonorsChoose.org, a platform where teachers can post projects they need funding for, and donors can choose which projects they want to support. Within a year of launching the site, DonorsChoose.org had raised $250,000 in donations, and by 2018, the platform had raised over $700 million. By quickly learning the skills necessary to create and launch DonorsChoose.org, Charles Best was able to turn his frustration with the lack of resources for his students into a successful nonprofit organization that has helped thousands of teachers and students across the United States. His ability to rapidly learn and adapt to new challenges allowed him to benefit from the chaos of the education system and make a positive impact. Another awesome pandemic example that we all saw unfold quickly is Zoom. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many businesses had to quickly adapt to the new reality of remote work. Companies that were able to quickly learn how to use new technologies and implement remote work policies were able to continue operating and even thrive during this time. The online communication platform Zoom saw a huge surge in popularity as businesses and individuals needed a way to connect remotely. Despite some initial security and privacy concerns, Zoom was able to quickly address these issues and improve their platform to meet the demands of the growing user base. As a result, the company's stock value increased significantly, and they became a household name virtually overnight. By being able to quickly learn and adapt to the changing circumstances, businesses like Zoom were able to benefit from the chaos of the pandemic and emerge as leaders in their industry. Here are some tips on how to increase learning speed. 1. Set clear goals. Define your learning objectives and set achievable goals for yourself. This will help you stay focused and motivated. 2. Embrace failure. Failure is an inevitable part of the learning process. Instead of being discouraged by failures, view them as opportunities to learn and improve. 3. Use different learning methods. Everyone learns differently, so experiment with the different learning methods to find the ones that work best for you. This could include reading, watching videos, attending classes or workshops, or practicing hands-on. 4. Stay organized. Keep track of what you have learned and what you still need to learn. This will help you identify gaps in your knowledge and focus on areas that need improvement. 5. Seek feedback. Feedback from others can help you identify areas for improvement and make adjustments to your learning approach. 6. Prioritize. Focus on learning the most important information first and then move on to more advanced concepts. 7. Practice. Practice what you've learned as often as possible to reinforce your knowledge and improve your skills. 8. Keep an open mind. Be willing to learn new things and challenge your existing beliefs and assumptions. This will help you expand your knowledge and develop a more comprehensive understanding of the subject matter. Principle 10. Collaboration. In times of chaos, it can be tempting to isolate oneself and try to handle everything alone. However, this is not always the most effective approach. Collaboration with others can be a powerful tool in navigating uncertainty and capitalizing on opportunities that arise from chaos. Collaboration allows for the pooling of resources, skills, and knowledge. By working together, individuals can achieve outcomes that would be difficult or impossible to achieve alone. This is especially true when it comes to problem solving. By working in a group, individuals can bounce ideas off of each other, offer different perspectives, and build on each other's strengths. Collaboration also offers a support system during times of chaos. It can be comforting to know that you're not alone in facing challenges and that others have your back. This can help to reduce stress and increase resilience in the face of uncertainty. Collaboration can also lead to the creation of new opportunities. By working with others, individuals can gain access to new networks, resources, and perspectives that they may not have had otherwise. This can lead to the discovery of new ideas and innovations that can benefit everyone involved. Of course, collaboration is not always easy. It requires effective communication, trust, and a willingness to compromise. It is important to choose collaborators who share a common goal and are willing to work towards it in a constructive and collaborative manner. In the face of chaos, collaboration can be a powerful tool for individuals to navigate uncertainty and capitalize on opportunities. By working together, individuals can pool resources and skills, offer support, and create new opportunities. One real-world example of how collaboration helped someone benefit in the face of chaos is the Apollo 13 mission in 1970. When an explosion damaged the spacecraft and threatened the lives of the 3 astronauts aboard, NASA engineers and flight controllers worked together to come up with a plan to bring them safely back to Earth. The teams on the ground had to work quickly and collaboratively to overcome unexpected challenges and solve problems that had never been encountered before. They worked round the clock, sharing information and expertise to devise a plan that involved using the lunar module as a lifeboat and making a series of course corrections using the limited resources available. Through their collaboration and dedication, the team was able to bring the astronauts back safely, and the mission has become a celebrated example of the power of teamwork and collaboration in the face of adversity. During the 2010 Chilean mine collapse, 33 miners were trapped underground for 69 days. The situation was chaotic and dangerous, and the miners had to work together to survive. To ensure their survival, the miners collaborated with each other and with the rescue teams. They formed groups, assigned tasks, and made collective decisions on how to ration their food and water. They also supported each other emotionally and mentally during their long ordeal. One of the most significant examples of collaboration was the drilling of the rescue borehole. The miners worked with the rescue teams to provide accurate geological information, which helped the rescue team to successfully drill the borehole that eventually led to their rescue. The successful rescue of the Chilean miners is a powerful example of how collaboration in the face of chaos can lead to survival and a positive outcome. Diversity and inclusion are critical components of effective collaboration. When teams are diverse, They bring a range of experiences, perspectives, and ideas to the table. This diversity can lead to more innovative solutions and better decision making. In contrast, teams that lack diversity can suffer from groupthink, where everyone agrees with each other and fails to consider alternative perspectives. In addition to bringing a variety of perspectives to the table, diverse teams can also be more effective at problem solving. When a team is made up of individuals with different backgrounds and skill sets, they are better equipped to tackle complex problems. They can draw on a wider range of experiences and knowledge, which can lead to more creative solutions. Diversity and inclusion are also important for creating a positive and supportive team environment. When everyone feels valued and included, they are more likely to contribute their best work. On the other hand, when team members feel excluded or discriminated against, they may disengage or withdraw from the group. To ensure that diversity and inclusion are part of collaboration, it is important to actively seek out and include individuals with diverse backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences. This can be done by recruiting from a variety of sources, such as different colleges, industry sectors, or geographic regions. It can also involve establishing clear expectations for respectful behavior and providing training on topics such as unconscious bias. Ultimately, the benefits of diversity and inclusion in collaboration go beyond just the immediate outcomes of a project or task. When individuals from diverse backgrounds come together to collaborate, they can build bridges across cultural and social divides, creating a more inclusive and understanding society. When working in a collaborative environment, it is important to keep in mind the concepts of tolerance for misinformation and tolerance for lack of information, as well as the potential for information overload due to the diverse amount of information received. Collaboration involves bringing together individuals with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives to work towards a common goal. This diversity can lead to increased creativity and innovation, but it can also result in a variety of conflicting information. To effectively assess information from collaboration efforts, it is important to establish clear communication and expectations within the group. This can involve setting specific goals and timelines, assigning roles and responsibilities, and establishing clear channels for feedback and discussion. It is also important to actively listen to each other and respect each other's opinions and ideas, even if they differ from your own. At the same time, it is important to be aware of the potential for misinformation and a lack of information. Not all information received from collaborative efforts may be accurate or complete, and it's important to have a critical eye and assess the quality and validity of the information before making decisions. This involves asking questions, verifying resources, and considering multiple perspectives. Furthermore, the abundance of diverse information can also lead to information overload, making it difficult to sort through and make sense of all the information received. To avoid this, it's important to prioritize and focus on the most important information that aligns with the established goals and objectives. This can involve breaking down information into smaller, manageable pieces and assigning different team members to take responsibility for different areas. Collaboration can bring many benefits, including increased creativity and innovation. However, it is important to keep in mind the concepts of tolerance for misinformation and tolerance for a lack of information, as well as the potential for information overload when assessing information from collaboration efforts. By establishing clear communication, actively listening, verifying sources, and prioritizing information, collaboration can lead to successful outcomes. Keep principle number 2 in mind: independence. While collaboration can be a powerful tool in the face of chaos and randomness, it's important to also maintain a level of independence in your decision-making process. It can be tempting to simply follow the lead of the group and let others make decisions for you, but this can be a dangerous path to take. Maintaining your independence means taking an active role in the collaboration process, asking questions, offering opinions and ideas, and challenging assumptions. It means being willing to speak up when you disagree with the group and advocating for your own beliefs and values. At the same time, it's important to remain open to the perspectives and ideas of others. Collaboration is about working together towards a common goal, and that requires a willingness to compromise and to be open to different points of view. By maintaining your independence while also being open to collaboration, you can ensure that your decisions are informed, thoughtful, and reflect your own values and priorities. You can also help to ensure that the group is making the best possible decisions based on a diverse range of perspectives and ideas. Here are some tips on how to be more collaborative. 1. Foster a mindset of cooperation. To be more collaborative, it's important to develop a mindset of cooperation. This means being open to working with others, valuing their opinions, and being willing to compromise. 2. Develop good communication skills. Communication is key to collaboration. It is important to be able to express your ideas clearly and listen actively to others. Try to avoid interrupting or talking over others and be respectful of their views. 3. Build trust. Trust is an essential ingredient for successful collaboration. You can build trust by being honest, reliable, and transparent in your dealings with others. It is also important to keep your commitments and follow through on your promises. 4. Focus on shared goals. Collaborative efforts are most successful when all parties are focused on a common goal. Make sure that everyone involved in the collaboration understands and agrees on the ultimate objective and work together to achieve it. 5. Be open to feedback. Collaboration often involves receiving feedback from others. Try to be open to constructive criticism and use it as an opportunity to learn and grow. 6. Respect diversity. Collaborative efforts are often enriched by diversity of thought, background, and experience. Be respectful of these differences and seek to learn from them. 7. Celebrate successes. When a collaborative effort is successful, take the time to celebrate together. This helps to build camaraderie and reinforce the value of collaboration as a tool for success. Principle 11. Patience and persistence. Patience and persistence equals navigating chaos with grace. In times of chaos and unpredictability, it's easy to get overwhelmed and lose sight of our goals. We may feel like giving up when faced with unexpected challenges or setbacks. However, learning to cultivate patience and persistence can help us navigate chaos with grace and ultimately benefit from it. Patience allows us to remain calm and centered in the face of uncertainty. It helps us to avoid knee-jerk reactions and instead respond thoughtfully and strategically. When we're patient, we give ourselves time to think through the situation, consider all options, and make the best decision possible. This can be especially important when dealing with chaotic and rapidly changing circumstances. Persistence, on the other hand, allows us to stay focused on our goals despite setbacks and obstacles. It's about having the determination to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. Persistence helps us to stay motivated, learn from our mistakes, and continually improve our approach. Together, patience and persistence can be a powerful combination in navigating chaos. By cultivating these traits, we can learn to stay grounded, focused, and committed to our goals, even when the situation around us is uncertain or challenging. One way to develop patience and persistence is through mindfulness practices. Meditation, for example, can help us to cultivate patience by teaching us to observe our thoughts and emotions without reacting to them. It also helps us to stay present and focused on the present moment, rather than getting caught up in worries about the future. Similarly, setting small goals and celebrating incremental progress can help us to stay persistent. When we break a larger goal into smaller manageable tasks, we can more easily track our progress and stay motivated to keep going. Ultimately, learning to cultivate patience and persistence is about adopting a growth mindset. Instead of seeing challenges and setbacks as roadblocks, we view them as opportunities for growth and learning. We recognize that progress may be slow and steady, but that it's ultimately achievable if we stay committed and focused. In the face of chaos and unpredictability, it's important to remember that patience and persistence can be powerful tools. By staying focused on our goals and cultivating these traits, we can navigate even the most challenging circumstances with grace and ultimately benefit from the chaos. In the early 2000s, Elon Musk founded SpaceX, a company with the ambitious goal of revolutionizing space travel and exploration. Musk faced numerous setbacks and challenges in his quest to make reusable rockets and establish a presence in the aerospace industry. For example, in 2008, SpaceX's third rocket failed during its flight, causing the company to lose millions of dollars and putting Musk's entire enterprise at risk. However, instead of giving up, Musk and his team persisted in their efforts to perfect the technology and improve their operations. They continued to conduct tests, research and development, gradually improving the performance and reliability of their rockets. Despite experiencing multiple failures and setbacks over the years, Musk remained patient and committed to his long-term vision of making space exploration more accessible and affordable. Finally, in 2012, SpaceX became the first privately funded company to successfully send a spacecraft to the International Space Station, marking a major milestone in the history of space travel. Since then, SpaceX has continued to make strides in the industry with multiple successful launches and groundbreaking achievements, such as the Falcon Heavy, the first reusable rocket capable of carrying humans to space. Through his patience and persistence, Musk was able to overcome the chaos and uncertainty inherent in the aerospace industry and achieve his ambitious goals. His example serves as a testament to the power of perseverance and determination in the face of adversity. After graduating from college, Jessica had always dreamed of starting her own business. She had a passion for baking and wanted to open her own bakery. However, her family was not supportive of her idea and thought it was too risky. She also faced various setbacks such as difficulty securing a loan and finding a suitable location. Despite all these challenges, Jessica remained patient and persistent. She continued to research and refine her business plan, sought advice from mentors, and worked hard to save money for her startup costs. She also continued to improve her baking skills and built a loyal following selling her baked goods at local farmers markets and events. Eventually, Jessica's persistence paid off. She was able to secure a small business loan, found a great location for her bakery, and successfully opened her doors. Her bakery quickly became a hit in the community and has since expanded to multiple locations. In this example, Jessica's patience and persistence allowed her to overcome various obstacles and eventually achieve her dream of owning a successful bakery. Here are some tips on how to cultivate patience and persistence. 1. Set clear goals. It's easier to be patient and persistent when you have a clear idea of what you want to achieve. Take some time to think about your long-term goals and then break them down into smaller, achievable steps. 2. Focus on the process. Don't get too caught up in the end result. Remember that progress is made step by step and focus on what you can control in the present moment. 3. Celebrate small wins. When you achieve a small step towards your goal, celebrate it. Acknowledge your progress and allow yourself to feel good about it. This will help you stay motivated and persistent. 4. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness practices such as meditation can help you cultivate patience and persistence by training your mind to focus on the present moment and accept things as they are. 5. Keep a positive mindset. It's easy to become discouraged when things don't go as planned. Try to maintain a positive mindset and view obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow. 6. Learn from setbacks. Setbacks are a natural part of the process. When you encounter them, take a step back and evaluate what went wrong. Use this as an opportunity to learn and adjust your approach moving forward. 7. Surround yourself with support. Having a support system of people who believe in you and your goals can help you stay patient and persistent. Seek out mentors, friends, or family members who can provide encouragement and support. Final thoughts. Cultivating Akshaya mindset. The concept of Akshaya comes from Sanskrit and means never-ending, everlasting, and inexhaustible. In Hindu mythology, Akshaya is believed to be an endless supply of food that never runs out, a symbol of abundance and prosperity. In the context of chaos and randomness, cultivating an Akshaya mindset means embracing a state of abundance and infinite possibility, even in the face of uncertainty. To cultivate an Akshaya mindset, it's important to let go of limiting beliefs and mental patterns that keep us stuck in scarcity and fear. Instead, we must learn to trust in the abundance of the universe and our own inner resources. Here are some tips on how to cultivate an Akshaya mindset. 1. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is the foundation of abundance. By focusing on what we already have instead of what we lack, we open ourselves up to receive more blessings. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for, no matter how small. 2. Visualize abundance. Use your imagination to visualize a future of unlimited possibilities. Imagine yourself thriving and achieving your goals, even in the face of adversity. The more you can see yourself living in abundance, the more likely it is to manifest in your life. 3. Let go of attachment. Attachment to outcomes can create a sense of scarcity and fear. Instead, focus on the process of growth and learning. Be open to new opportunities and let go of the need to control everything. 4. Take risks. Cultivating an Akshaya mindset means being willing to take risks and step out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to try new things and embrace the unknown. It is often in taking risks that we discover our true potential. 5. Trust the universe. Finally, trust that the universe has your back. Believe that everything happens for a reason and that the universe is conspiring in your favor. When you trust in the abundance of the universe, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities. By cultivating an Akshaya mindset, we can approach chaos and randomness with a sense of curiosity and openness rather than fear and scarcity. This mindset allows us to tap into our own inner resources and discover a sense of abundance and prosperity in all aspects of life. In a world that is becoming increasingly unpredictable and chaotic, the ability to thrive amidst uncertainty is a crucial skill. Throughout this book, we have explored the concept of Akshaya, the ability to benefit from chaos and randomness. We have discussed several key skills that are essential in developing this ability, including flexibility, scalability, personal portability, tolerance for misinformation, learning speed, tolerance for a lack of information, collaboration, independence, patience, and persistence. Personal portability involves being able to pick up and leave any situation or location at a moment's notice. This allows us to adapt to changing circumstances quickly and easily without getting bogged down by too many attachments. Tolerance for misinformation is the ability to sift through the noise and discern real information from misleading or irrelevant data. It is important to develop this skill so that we can make informed decisions without being overwhelmed by the constant barrage of information. Learning speed is the rate at which we can go through the learning curve process. This skill is essential in being able to adapt to new situations and acquire knowledge quickly. Tolerance for a lack of information involves being comfortable with uncertainty and ambiguity. It allows us to make decisions even when we don't have all the facts, and to adapt as new information becomes available. Collaboration is the ability to work effectively with others, leveraging diverse perspectives and skills to achieve common goals. Independence is the ability to think for oneself and make decisions without being overly influenced by external factors. It allows us to maintain our own sense of identity and direction, even in the face of chaos and uncertainty. Patience and persistence are key in achieving long-term goals, even when faced with obstacles and setbacks. By cultivating these skills, we can develop the ability to benefit from chaos and randomness, to find opportunities amidst uncertainty, and to thrive in a rapidly changing universe. We must learn to adapt, to be flexible, and to embrace the unknown. Only then can we truly harness the power of Akshaya. This has been Akshaya, Thriving No Matter What, How to Succeed in a Chaotic World. Written by Anand Bhatt. Narrated by Jim Callahan. Copyright 2023 by Anand Bhatt. Production copyright Anand Bhatt. Thanks for listening to a book read by a real human.